Thank you for dialing in and tapping in with your friend over here where the red phone resides. It's your girl Aries, and I am back with another Found recap and review. Tonight is episode 6, Missing While Addicted. And with a title like that, we know that this episode is not expected to disappoint. You're telling me an addict is missing now? Okay, let's hurry up on and get into this. So make sure that you're liking the video on your way in, my friend, and dropping down in the comments with a little red phone to let me know that you were in the building. I really appreciate and look forward to what all you guys have to say. Let's go ahead on and get into it without further ado. We start off the episode with Sir and Gabby going back down memory lane once again. I love the tradition of opening up the show with a flashback of Sir and Gabby. This time is no different, and this time is really no different with Gabby begging Sir to make a phone call to her dad. Girl, you know it's not happening. I really don't even know why Gabby is still, I don't even know how, I should say, how Gabby is so persistent in how she maintains a strong grip on reality neck. On how she maintains a strong grip on reality's neck. Okay, she doesn't bend, break, or fold when it comes to Sir's tactics because the manipulation was very high in this episode. Straight out the gate. I was so triggered. I felt like it needed a trigger warning or some type of rating for the first class manipulation that Sir was serving ice cold to our dear Gabby. Okay, she's wanting to know if she can make a phone call to her dad. It's the first snow and all. And she wants to make sure that he has winters on his vehicle. She wants to make sure that he has tires on, the chains on those, okay? And that he has his winter gloves. Is this going to happen? Sir is definitely opposed to it. And not only is he opposed to it, or he don't just walk off and be quiet about the thing and try to ignore Gabby. No, he tells her, look, Gabby, I don't even know, why are you concerned about this man? If he wanted you, he would have found you by now. He doesn't love you. He doesn't care about you as his daughter. I do. You're my daughter. He doesn't care about you the way that I do. Okay, he can't care for you the way that I can. I'm like, now this would be different, sir, if you were saying this and Gabby was living in a house somewhere with you and it was nice, and it had central heating and cooling and food. What do you mean that her dad is not looking for her? We know that not to be true because we know how Gabby's dad took the situation. And we're going to find out even more about how he took the situation in this episode. Yes. So we chime out of that. Next, we see Gabby sitting bedside of Tony Edwards. I'm like, oh, okay. So Tony Edwards is the boy that caught a bullet in episode 4 when they were, they were busting. I can't even say that they were busting that trafficking ring because that trafficking ring was busting back and actually shot this young man. Young Tony caught a bullet. And his father's whole gripe with Gabby is, hey, you sacrificed my son to save another one, and that's not cool. Yeah, I don't know. Gabby is on her road to redemption up here behind Tony Edwards, okay? So we catch our first case for the night, and it is a dying mother who's looking for her son. She wants to hold his hand and see him one more time before she goes. And so, the crew is going to be working against the clock on this one. But right out the gate, Don is not here for it. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because if Don says no, then it must be really bad. I feel like he's the brute of the gang, okay? He's the brute of the crew. And for him to have his reservations about it, he must feel something. Whenever Don's spidey sense is getting the tingling, I feel like we need to follow that lead and not go against the grain. But we are talking to bullheaded Gabby Mosley. So who gonna check me, boo, is in full effect. Don calls this missing person out as an addict. And he's like, Gabby, we not about to find nobody that don't want to be found. Gabby's like, look, are you going to be just like the police now? You giving up? Everybody deserves to be found, even addicts, Don. I love the way Don spells his name too, by the way. Did y'all know that it was Dahn? When Don had his reservations about this case, that already started making me feel some kind of way. I got excited. I'm like, oh my God, what's up? Don don't want no part of the action? This is going to be crazy. I could already feel the plots and the twists and the turns way ahead of schedule. Not that it's predictable, but that it was, they let the momentum build up on this one. And I was in from the gate. I would say this is when the gate flew open, when Don was against it. And so we're off running. And we're over here to cousin Lucas's house to get a better idea about the background on David, our missing person. And Lucas lets us know that, David started to use drugs as a teenager when his sister fell on a ladder and died from that accident. His mom blames herself for the accident and for David's addiction. So, they both been dealing with a lot of pain, the mother and son. So Lucas is like, I don't want y'all to go and find him because I would love for my auntie to just die in peace. She don't deserve to see no junkie drugged up and however the man supposed to be looking, probably with sores and scabs all on his face. She don't need that in her life. And at this point, I'm thinking like, this is a good young man. This is a good cousin here. And I love the way that he is so protective of his auntie. That's beautiful. But when he fired Mosley and Associates, oh, Lucas, you go up on my list as number 1. Numero uno on the suspect board. Him. Now, don't think for one moment that just because Lucas fired Mosley and Associates, that they're actually going to stop working this case. Okay, this case is hitting too close to home for Gabby. She's definitely not going to call it quits because her father was an addict. So we head back to the office, and Zeke did his handiwork and found out that David's phone is disconnected. And of course, Lacey is getting ready for typical things that we would do in a missing persons case, like a press conference. And Gabby sons her the way that she does every single episode. And Lacey is just left there looking stupid. I'm so tired of Gabby treating this girl like this. So Gabby just says, look, we got to keep it on the low. And that's just that on that. So they end up heading over to a sober living / recovery type of home and meet David's sponsor there. Gabby is going on and on with so much recovery lingo that it's starting to raise the antennas of Lacey especially. And Don ends up with the task of pretending to be somebody in search of a recovery home. He says that his name is Mike. And while Gabby is talking her talk, Mike and Lacey head into the room that was once David's. And they're looking around. They're looking for David's belongings. This is when we meet the owner of this home. He's running the sober living facility. And he said that David didn't end up signing a HIPAA form, so he put his stuff out in storage. Now, as soon as this man brought up the word HIPAA, the acronym, I said, something in the milk is not clean, and you shall go right up there on my list of suspects with cousin Lucas. So you know that Gabby is going to maximize her resources, and by doing so, she makes her way over to the police station to pay old Trent a visit. Now, I don't know what y'all thought, but I definitely thought that this interaction will be different between Trent and Gabby based off the fact that she just was needing him last week to deal with the pain of her father and da-da-da. Now she acting like she don't even know this man. And this is why I keep telling Trent he need to stay his behind home and stop dealing with Gabby because she does not appreciate you, sir. She's sitting up here using you and then stole from you while you sitting up here looking like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Trent said, Gabby, I thought we had a moment. Like, what's going on? She said, Trent, moments are fleeting. And I just about passed out from the bed onto the floor when this woman told this man that. Like, damn, Gabby is cold as ice. So what she ends up stealing is a flash drive with information on it. They've got to crack it. You know, Zeke is going to do his thing. And once Gabby makes her way back to the office, Zeke has done just that, his thing. He's recovered the original interview from the police station after David's sister's death. So David is there giving an interview. And I can't help but notice the grip that Cousin Lucas has on David's shoulder during this interview. One other thing that I can't help but notice and must call out, because did I miss something for the reason why this interview footage is looking like it came straight out of a GTA game or AI generated? I mean, the actors are in this episode. Why in the world are they not in the interview? This is definitely giving actor strike replacement. I don't know, y'all, but I thought that was quite comical. The fact that this interview footage looked like a damn cartoon. I'm starting to feel sorry for my girl Lacey because she is always out of the loop. Lacey enters the room with what she thinks is news when she's telling the rest of the crew, like, look, Lucas done fired us, y'all. We got to stop this case right now. And everybody's looking around like, okay, girl, that is old news. You're just now finding out about it because you're out of the loop, Lacey. I don't know why they treating my girl like she's a little stepsister. You know, they just letting her go through the motions. As long as she's on standby to be that lawyer that Gabby needs her to be. So they end up finding out that Rachel, the mom, has been admitted to the hospital. Okay, it's not looking good for her. So Margaret and Gabby head down to the hospital to meet with Rachel. And they end up going live with a message to David. And all I'm thinking about, and I bet y'all were thinking the same thing, is that if David can see this, Lucas can too. And so I realize that time is of the essence in this situation, but Gabby is just playing too fast and loose for me. She's willing to risk anything to bring David home. And when I say risk anything, it's funny that I say that because Zeke has just now cracked the thumbnail that she stole when she risked what I feel like is Trent's job. She risked this man's job by stealing stuff that is involved in his case, just for the sake of her getting some information to solve her own. This is what I mean. This is exactly the same reason why Tony Edwards' dad is upset with you, Gabby, because you do whatever is going to serve you. You don't care about who get caught in the crossfire of your mess. Okay, you just stole this flash. I'm not going to even focus on that because I just want to see what's going to end up happening. Gabby is really getting on my nerves in this episode. I appreciate the passion, but you're doing too much. So Zeke has cracked this flash drive, and ends up finding a confidential informant's information on it. This informant is somehow tied to David. Now, not only did they meet with the CI, but they came correct. They know that money talks. They tossed her a very fat envelope. And so I know that she was mad when Trent pulled up and took her into custody. And she was quick to say that, hey, they're trying to bribe me. They sent me an envelope full of money to try to get information. She sung like a bird. I said, okay, I see why you are a snitch. You're doing it right now. Get your butt in the car. Trent goes over and confronts Gabby. Him and Don get into it. And you know they've been having smoke. But Don, this man just saved your life last week. I'm sorry if I'm yelling, y'all, but I'm just really getting worked up by this episode. Because they don't be... These people be forgetting, okay? And I don't be. So, Don, you almost just got your block knocked off, but Trent saved your life last week, and now you all up in his face as if that never happened. As if he never came to your rescue and aid. Don, get your butt in the car. Trent, go ahead on and arrest him. I won't say that he arrests him, but he definitely takes him into custody. He handcuff him and put him in the back seat. Trent gets out to confront Gabby. They have a back and forth because, of course, Trent's feelings are hurt. Like, damn, Gabby, I thought we was better than this. You gonna risk me and my job, put that in jeopardy just so you could solve this case for a drug head? Hello? The CI hears the conversation and says, look, I want to talk to Gabby. I didn't know this was even about David. Girl, what was you going to tell then? You didn't know this was about David. You was just going to take this money from these people and what? Just talk? Just going to answer whatever questions they had for you. I guess no questions is asked because it looked like it was at least like, I don't know, y'all. It might have been some thousands of dollars, at least 10 in that envelope as thick as it was. So the CI spills the tea on Jesse, who's actually the owner of that sober living recovery home. He's been running an insurance scheme and scam the same way that we suspected. So whatever he does, it's like he lets the people die or run off or overdose, but he never tells the insurance company. He keeps collecting that check. He said that he's using that money to make his sober living house so nice. He's using that for home improvements. Is that a crime? He wants to know. And so Trent's like, yes, and it's called fraud. Boy, you're arrested. Clink, clink. And so meanwhile, Lucas actually ends up seeing that live stream Gabby and Rachel did from the hospital room. Maybe they should have checked Rachel's friends list first and blocked him or made sure he wasn't nowhere on the friends list. Okay, because he definitely ended up seeing the live and definitely ended up filing a restraining order. This man got something to hide. He filed a restraining order on Mosley and Associates to put a halt on this case and any efforts that they're making beyond being just fired. Okay, he said y'all need a restraining order to stop this mess immediately. Now, all I could think of is that you definitely must have something to hide, because anytime Rachel is on her deathbed the way that she is, you would think that she would pass on before they even had a chance to find this man. Like the odds are literally 1 out of 100, I feel. The chances of finding somebody that ain't been seen in so long don't matter if mama's dying or not. They don't know. Yet you're going above and beyond. You're going above and beyond, Lucas. So I definitely still have my good eye on you, my friend. So Gabby is just letting it be known, look, this is not going to stop me. And if y'all don't want to go with me, I'm going to do it by myself and go and find David, because my dad was an alcoholic. She gives them the breakdown behind why she's going so hard. Her dad was an alcoholic, and he used alcohol to cope with the loss of her while she was missing. So Gabby gets all teary-eyed and ends up in the basement with Sir going over this case. And he wants to help. Gabrielle, you know that I'm your one true partner in this, and I've never turned my back on you. Sir is so funny to me, because he really swear that he's this woman's partner and that they work in these cases together. She said, look, okay, this is a drug addict. Don't get on your high horse about what you're not going to help me do. And Sir breaks it down like this is actually the perfect missing person, because nobody's going to come looking for him. And I feel like that's exactly why the mom didn't go to the police station, because of the same way that Don was thinking and the same way that Sir is thinking. This is an addict. If he don't want to be found, he's not going to be. But somebody could be also holding him captive, knowing that nobody is going to be looking for him, or they just expect him to be off doing his thing. So our girl, the detail lady, Margaret, ends up finding out that Lucas has something to hide. She's reviewing that tape and noticed something that she didn't see in him before. And you know what? I actually gave Lucas the pass up front when we initially met his character because of that. Because Margaret didn't see anything, it didn't get her spidey senses to tingling. I was thinking like, you know what? He's a wholesome guy. It wasn't until Lucas fired Mosley and Associates that I put my good eye on him. So the team heads over to Lucas's house. And honestly, I think that this is Aunt Rachel's house. I think that Lucas stepped in to freeload off of the situation because David was out in the streets and Elise was gone and Aunt Rachel was there by herself, and boom, there is a pool house or some type of in-law suite that he's living in. And he's living there, where's your mama, matter of fact, Lucas? Because why are you here? You know why he's here? He's here because he's been holding David captive the whole time, just feet away from his mom. He's been drugging this man. He didn't relapse. Lucas has been giving David, you're lucky this man ain't gave you a hot dose by now, because David lets it be known that Lucas actually pushed Elisa, his sister. She didn't fall. There was no accident. And David has been living with this lie the whole time. Lucas has been living with this lie the whole time. And since David is the only one that knew, he knew that he had to keep him quiet. He actually got him hooked on drugs. David didn't go out trying to cope with the loss of Elisa with drugs. That was all Lucas's doing. Okay, he done tore this mother and son apart, drove a wedge between them to keep his own little stinking secret. Talking about it was an accident just before he gets arrested. Well, it might have been an accident then, but you didn't do nothing about it. You was hiding it ever since. So off to jail you go. Tell Jesse I said what's up. So now we reunite David and Rachel in that hospital room. And I mean, as soon as she saw her boy, they got to hugging and crying, and Miss Rachel was gone. She was hanging on just long enough to see her son. And it wasn't long after that before I just heard him, sobbing a little bit louder. Gabby sitting up there outside the hospital room, and I thought that he was just like really breaking down, like, "No, Mama, I missed you. I missed you. I'm sorry." Then I seen the hospital staff running in there, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this lady is dying like that, right on the spot." He literally didn't have that much time. He literally had about 5 seconds in a hug. That was sad. That really was sad to me, y'all. You know what else is sad, y'all? It is very sad that Sir went out to prove his point that Gabby's father was not missing her. Flashback, by the way. This is a flashback. Sir went out and took a picture of Gabby's dad at the bar. He thinking that this is going to prove that, oh, I told you, he's out drinking. He's not worried about you. And Gabby sees this picture. First of all, I just cannot even believe that he didn't have the audacity and the gall to dare go out in public and take a picture of this man, okay, Gabby's father, knowing damn well he got his daughter somewhere locked in the basement. I'm just astonished by the lengths that Sir goes through, to maintain the delusion. It's crazy. And that ain't no exaggeration. It is crazy with a capital C. Gabby, though, is actually delighted by this photo. It actually gives her hope. She know her daddy is alive and that he's worried about her. That's why he at that bar. He worried. And he thinking about her. She sees that he has his glove placed beside him at the bar. This gives her hope, and it definitely backfired on Sir. He snatched the picture all up and tears it out. I'm like, what you tearing it up for now? Okay, because you don't want her to keep looking at it. Now she has that fresh memory saved in her head. You definitely just took 2 steps, 10 steps backwards, Sir, by doing that. What's the problem with you? Why you don't know how to kidnap nobody no more? So Gabby and Trent end up crossing paths at the office, and Trent is still trying to show love to Gabby even after she stole from him and put his job at risk. Okay, and Gabby is still trying to keep it business, but she ends up breaking just a bit and shares some feelings and let him know that, look, I did feel something, but it's just not the right timing. The timing is off. You know how I am about that. And so Trent is just like, you lucky that I'm patient. And I'm like, that's a good man, Savannah. I don't care what you say. That's a good man. This case actually hits home for more than just Gabby, as we see in this scene with Don and Zeke. And Don is letting Zeke know that, hey, my best friend was an addict, and his best friend was actually Mike, that name that he used in the sober living home. And Don's just been struggling with the what ifs and during this case. Like, what if he wasn't on drugs? Would he still be here? Would he still be around? Would we still be down like we used to? And Zeke is like, man, you can't focus on that. You did your duties as a friend. You were there for him, and he had to deal with those demons on his own. Don't hold that self against you, big dog. I really love the relationship between Zeke and Don. Okay, I'm here for the bromance. I'm going to say it every time. So by now, Gabby is back home, and she just now had a little confrontation with Sir. He's trying to call himself apologizing for not allowing Gabby to see or talk to her dad prior to his death. And Gabby shut that down real quick. He doesn't get to apologize for a damn thing, okay, to Gabby. That's how she's seeing it. She heads upstairs and here's a knock, knock, knock at the door. It's Trent. And if you guys have been watching this series from the beginning, you know that we saw this clip of Trent coming to Gabby's house or something. And it's finally here. That moment is here. So Sir is in the basement. He's hearing the muffled voices of Gabby and Trent upstairs talking about, basically, child, they talking about Trent is suspended because that fake-ass Captain Cragen at his precinct found out that Gabby stole the thumb drive from him. And now he's being investigated and his job is on the line. Y'all, I knew this. I knew Gabby then put this man's job on the line. And so right now, I don't know what Sir is going to do. We got to see in episode 7. Is Sir about to make a fuss downstairs? At this point, Trent ain't got no job anyway. He ain't got nothing else to lose. He might come down there and give your ass the biz night Eve, sir. And you will be deserving of it. Y'all, I just got amped. I just got so excited about things to come. This episode was magnificent. I'm sure that episode 8 is going to be even more great. Ooh, that rhymed, y'all. That's how I get when I'm on a roll and I'm just hyped. So drop down in the comments and let me know what your favorite parts about this episode of Found was. Let me know what you're looking forward to. And I'll see you there in the comments. Bye-bye.